Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I am going to be doing a nice first impression review of the new Vader's Vault Hero, their Generation 2 model that's recently started shipping out to everybody. This originally went on sale back in January 12th of 2019, and I just got this yesterday. So this was originally set to, I think, ship out around like July or so, but Vader's Vault actually held on to the hilt because the new Crystal Focus 10 was coming out, and it was basically replacing their crystal shard that they had at the time, which I think was the 4.5. So at that point, the chassis had to get remodeled, and then of course all the boards had to come in. So I think it took a little bit of time for them to start changing all the orders over. But I'm very glad that they held on to that. I really didn't care about the wait time so much because I knew that the new Crystal Focus 10 was going to be a great board. It has smooth swing on top of all the other features that it has. So for me, it was well worth the wait. I'm very happy with this so far. This looks great. I do have the Generation 1 that is currently getting an upgrade with JB Garza. They're putting in a Neopixel for me, as well as a Crystal Focus 10 in that as well. So I'm hoping to get that back at some point. And when I do, I promise I'll do a comparison video looking at the two generations. But this one right now was genius what Vader's Vault did. There were so many options and accessories to go with this, and I'll go over that in a little bit. If you have the Generation 1, still a great hilt in my eyes. That was, at the time that was released, I think that was the best installed hero you could purchase. Recently, over the years, there have been some empties, namely the KR hero, which was based on the cave scene. The Vader's Vault hero has always been based on the I see you have constructed a new lightsaber scene in Return of the Jedi, where we get like a really brief glimpse of the hero. It's the only time we really ever see it on screen. And I thought that Vader's Vault put out a really great hilt at that point in time. At that point, they had gone with the idealized rings, whereas now they have the option of going with the asymmetrical. And there are a few other little differences in that hilt that they changed over for this one that I'm going to go over as well. But overall, I'm really happy. I got some light weathering on this, so you can take a look. And I did get a Neopixel blade plug with this. And another difference with this one too is that you can get the option of a solid pommel cap, which I did. And the one nice thing that I really thought was great that Vader's Vault did with this is they put a number, a serial number in these. That was a pain getting that off, but I think that's the point. So mine, I'm part of the first run, and my number was 68. I was hoping for a lower number because I think this went on sale at 12 noon on that Friday, and I think I was done with my order by 12:01. So I find it hard pressed that I was that 67 other people beat me out in my order. So I'm not really sure if they did the actual order number for, serial number, if it went, match for match. But regardless, I'm happy that I got in on the first run. I think at the end of the day, that's what I'm most happy with. I think they have done a second run that they did over the summertime, and I'm sure that now that these are going out and they're happy to be shipping these, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do a third run at some point in 2020. But that is for Deanna and Alan to let everybody know. I honestly have no inside information on that. So here is the vented cap. Now this is something that was different. This was the pommel style for the hero, the Generation 1 version. But I have to tell you, even with the more screen accurate pommel, this actually gives off a good amount of sound. So overall, I am pretty happy with that. Now, this comes apart just like the Generation 1 hero. New chassis style, covering the board. You have your recharge port, you have your SD card, but also you have your USB-C in here to access the date on the card. I believe you don't even have to remove the card. You could just go in here and do this. I have not fiddled with the settings yet. This is all completely stock sound fonts, stock style. I was happy that when I lit this up, green was the first color that came out of it. And now the other nice thing that they have, one of the new options this year,
Construct the new light saber.
Love my LED arrows. Now, what they did this time around is you're now able to remove the upper assembly. And as you can see here, it's got a little pancake PCB on there. There's the removable battery. And they have many options now when it comes to this. So you could get an asymmetrical or an idealized symmetrical rings. You could get the screen accurate emitter, which is what I chose to get, or you can get the dueling emitter, which has the raised edges over here, a raised ring to increase blade security. I chose to go with screen accurate, of course, but you can mix and match any style. They were, it was a little extra getting those assemblies. I can't remember the amount off the top of my head. I want to say it was like 125 or 175, something like that, for an extra. But you could get whatever style you wanted, and I thought that was brilliant of them to do. Give everybody the option of what they really want. You're not stuck with one variation of it. You can kind of pick and choose. So I really did like that. On the inside, if you can see inside there, again, there's another PCB with the prongs on inside to connect to the pancake here. Now my Gen 1 had I originally had a green, white, and then I had that upgraded from a Crystal Shard 3.0 to a Crystal Focus 8 with Jordan Eugene, who gave me a green, lime, red. And then shortly after, I mean, in the time frame that he had it over the course of a year, this was, oh gosh, I know it's been a couple of years, but over the course of that time, Neopixel came out and started to become the big thing. And if I would have known, I just would have waited and done a Neopixel install from the start. But now JB Garz has got it, and I'm looking forward to getting that back with after the upgrade that he's given it, and then I can do a really nice comparison. And they'll both have a Crystal Focus 10, so I think that's pretty cool. And the last little thing here, now this did not happen on the Gen 1, was you could not unscrew the pommel cap. Now you can. So if I want, I can go either way. But like I said, I do like the regular style pommel cap, so I am going to stay with the accurate one. And that little hole in there definitely gives out a good enough sound. I'll show that off in a minute. And also too, for those of you that ended up getting that Neopixel emitter, the blade plug. I didn't do that enough. You can see here, there is the PCB on it. I love how Vader's Vault does their heroes with the Neopixel. I think this is definitely the way to go. Most heroes right now, or most thin necks, they have an inner cup that screws the emitter into the neck. And at that point, you need to either modify the cup by grinding it down or milling it down so that it's basically flat, and then you can put the Neopixel PCB in that way. Or you can do a recessed blade. So you'd have to recess the PCB on the blade itself. So instead of it being completely flat like this, it would sit like in here so that this portion can go sit over the cup nicely. I'm not a huge fan of that right now. I don't have one like that currently. I am looking to, I keep reading up on milling down the heat sinks in order for it to fit nicely. And I think some people are doing some 3D printed variations to help out. So this way the whole inside of the cup will be flat so the blade just sits nicely in there. I think that's the way that I am going to go with most of my thin necks that I have coming up that I'm personally building. And I would like to see more of these FX empty hills, these thin necks that are coming out, have the same have that same style, because I think it just makes it easier for the install and more user friendly with the blade. So the copper neck, it looks fantastic, and I've said previously on some hero videos, I love the look of this. It's an idealized look. The hilt itself, the accurate hilt, it was a painted, it was a painted copper or painted antique gold, if you will. That was it was an aluminum neck and it was just painted on. So I do love the metal, and but this to me, this is an idealized neck and not 100% to the actual prop itself. The pommel cubes feel great. I think they did a great job with the angles on this. The box style, the control box style, is definitely more reminiscent of the I see you have constructed a new lightsaber scene. The cave scene or the mom hero typically has a much fatter copper rails here. This is a little bit of a wider control box. So this is a little bit thinner. You can definitely tell the difference between the two. The black, and this is nice, this chamfered cutting in over here. This little mill section is on on an angle. I can't remember if that's on the Gen 1 or not. It's been a while since I really stared at it, but it's nice that they put that little detail on there. Now, the clamp card is something of a discussion, and I remember I reached out to Vader's Vault when they over the summertime with this, and I was wondering if they were gonna, because there was a lot of some references coming out over on the RPF about the clamp card having possibly been on a blue PCB with gold traces. And Sloth Furnace has put one out now. It looks just like this. You can see it's blue on the back. I hope that comes through. And this is what I'm going to be putting in this hero. I just have to cut this down to fit. I sent JB this one as well for my Gen 1 hero, and I told him to please put that in when he replaces the clamp card after reinstalling the hilt. But I mean, honestly, those are probably the only two things I would say as far as like, I mean, not being like 100% screen accurate. And I think, again, I said this before on another video, I think screen accuracy is it's a great topic and discussion to have. There are plenty of people that are really passionate about it. I think you can get very, very close, but sometimes I feel like there are some details that we'll never know if you don't get to actually hold that prop. Reference photos are fantastic, but sometimes unless you get to actually hold it, I think it's going to be very difficult to get some of those minute details down. But that's why I think you get really, really close. And I think Vader's Vault has done, again, a great job with their second generation hilt, improving on some of the designs that they had from the first run that they did. Even here, you could see that the pommel cube is slightly off. Just like it is on the actual prop, it's not lined up directly dead center, which I believe the first generation does have. So they did improve upon that, and the pommel cube's off. This might even need to be moved over just a hair more, but other than that, I think this looks great. Tri-ring is great. I got some light weathering on mine, which I think is a little bit more accurate to the hilt than it being like 100% clean. My Gen 1 is clean. I didn't get any weathering on that when I first got it. I might go in and kind of clean up some bits in here, like around the emitter itself. I think the emitter was a little bit cleaner than this. And I love the grime around the control box. I thought they weathered this really, really well. And the body of it, I really like. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to get a blade in here and turn out the lights, show off a little bit of the smooth swing for some of the newer people to the hobby. Now this is definitely a tight fit. When I first put this in, it took a little bit of twisting to kind of get in there. Okay, it's nice and snug. All right, I am going to just turn off the lights.
You like saber.
Again, these are all factory settings from Vader's Vault. They do have a bunch of fonts on here that comes with the Crystal Focus, and already it comes loaded with one of the hero fonts, the Father and Son. So here we go. Fantastic coloring. Again, love the Neopixel blade, love the scrolling effect. much better than the fading in and out of the old Tri-Crees. The Tri-Crees were great, but just with the way technology is going right now, I don't think really there's there's not going backwards with back to Tri-Crees again. So again, if this comes up, what's really nice about this effect, the blaster bolt effect, is that you have the pixels are randomly hit and will change color. So on this right now, it's currently set at white, whereas on a Tri-Cree you couldn't do that. It would just flash the color that whatever you had set. That's the beautiful thing about the Neopixel. They can like randomly choose where you're going to have that blaster hit, which I think is great. And then holding down, of course, for your lock up. So here's a smooth swing. Let's see if we can get this in. All right. So let's take a look at the color wheel, shall we? The spectrum. Oh, that turned it off. Oh, that did it again.
Spectrum.
There we go. So with this, then you just go whichever way you want, turn it to the color you hit, comes up. Why don't we go with original Return of the Jedi, which is a little blue. There we go. And now we're on blue. And it keeps that. All right. Get the lights. So I think this hilt has really stepped up its game. I think Vader's Vault's done a great job with the second generation hilt. I think anybody who's got one on order already from these first two runs and the ones that are going to be receiving it soon, this was well worth the wait. Get excited. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. For those that want to get one on a future run, please make sure you get on top of that. Just keep looking out for the announcements on the vaults, typically on the Facebook page. But yeah, I love this. This is going to be one that I keep. I don't think I will ever get rid of this hilt. I love the hero. I love, this is, to me, this is the best installed hero that you can get. There are two runs that are going on right now on the RPF. One is from Anakin Starkiller. Dan, he is doing a run of heroes. Those are coming bare aluminum that you have to do your own weathering and painting to the style that you like. The other is from Brian Rogers. Adam, I'm not sure of his last name, are teaming up with Seven Chambers to fix the Ultimate Hero that came out last year. There were some dimension problems with that, and Brian and Adam have done a fantastic job of doing a build thread. I highly recommend going over there and checking that out if you're looking for a do-it-yourself and following along. But those two heroes that are going to be coming out are going to be fantastic if the product itself comes out the way that they've been picturing it. I believe I might actually be getting the Anakin Starkiller within the next week. I believe that might be shipping out. So heads up on that one. I'll probably post another impression review once I get those in. But yeah, I think this is the best installed hero around. I don't think you're going to get one any better than this. I know that Vader's Vault and Evolution Arms worked on the Gen 1 together. I believe they did the same thing with the Gen 2. I'm not sure if, unless they separated on this one, they did their own thing. So I'm not 100% sure on that. You'd have to ask the people involved. But they've done a fantastic job. I don't think you're going to get a better FX completely installed hilt, especially with a Crystal Focus 10. It was a great purchase. Really happy with it. Anybody who loves the Luke Return of the Jedi hilts, please look into the Vader's Vault before you go anywhere else when you're talking about a fully installed one. All right. But guys, yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to sign off. I hope this was educational, enlightening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Got to see a little bit of the breakdown. And if you guys need, anything, or if you have any questions, please write them down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.